Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. And once again, this movie is directed by Peter Jackson and has all the same cast as the previous two Hobbit movies. And it is the third installment of the Hobbit trilogy. And this one was bad. I don't know what else to say. It's just bad, and there's so much for me to talk about, and I honestly don't even know where to start, because aside from the performances for the most part and the music, which I do like, that I felt was good, and the movie didn't look terrible in every scene, in terms of how it was shot. It did feel like a Peter Jackson movie at points, for sure. Almost every other element, for the most part, is just bad. The story, to the special effects, to the action, and character development, and it really hurts this movie, all of these issues. Not just because they're in the movie, but also this is supposed to be the conclusion of the Hobbit trilogy, and you're supposed to feel something, when big moments are happening, you're probably expecting to feel an impact of some kind, because this trilogy has been building up to this movie, and they're long movies and all have been building up to this point, and here's your payoff and it doesn't work. And this movie was just pretty boring for the most part, and the action I didn't care about one bit, and it just went on for way too long, and I was just bored and checked out. And the special effects in this movie looked very cartoonish and did not convince me in the slightest that they were real. And if all of that wasn't bad enough, this movie also introduces some new characters, and they're completely unnecessary, do not need to be in the movie. And the action in the movie, I already touched on this, but it kind of felt like it was trying to be Return of the King in ways, just trying to recapture what made the action in that movie exciting, or even in any of the other Lord of the Rings films. The action is fun, it's exciting and engaging and intense when it needs to be, and hits all of the emotions that it's going for. But that doesn't happen in this movie, because I don't care about the characters, I don't care about what's going on, and now I'm just gonna have to get into the smaller things that eventually build up into why this movie doesn't work for me. First off, let's talk about Bilbo Baggins, played by Martin Freeman. Still likable. I still like him as this character, and I still like Bilbo Baggins as a character in this movie. And they don't really give him anything to do. And the best part of these Hobbit movies is just watching Bilbo go on his adventure and just following him, seeing where he's going, and that's what helps out to the trilogy. But the problem here is that he has nothing to do. He's, as I'm watching the movie, he feels like a supporting character. I'm not even kidding you. And this movie, it didn't even feel like it had a main character, now that I think about it. Who's the main character of this movie? So many characters get an equal amount of screen time. Maybe Thorin? I don't know. I'll say this much about this particular one. At least this one is the shortest out of the Hobbit trilogy. The theatrical cut, at least. I don't know about the extended edition, but it was at least shorter than the other two. It was just under 2.5 hours long, and it felt like a breath of fresh air. I was like, wow. I wasn't sitting here watching a movie that was almost 3 hours long. It was a bit closer to 2 hours. And I was thankful for that. I was happy. And also kind of mad that I just wasted 2.5 hours of my day. And also, minor spoilers for Desolation of Smaug. That movie kind of ended on a cliffhanger where Smaug destroys Lake Town. That's where this movie begins, with Smaug destroying Lake Town. And that sequence is like, I don't know, 10 minutes long. And had that been in the second movie and that was like the end of it, like I think I would have rated Desolation of Smaug 1 point higher, possibly, just because it would have made that whole sequence that whole film feel complete. As in, like, we have everything we wanted to do in this movie, now it's completed. Like, maybe they just had some effects that they needed to work on and just needed more time. Maybe, I don't know. I never bothered to look into this. Maybe that's the case. However, if I were to re-edit these movies into my own cut, that would be one of the first things I would change, is that putting that Smaug destroying Lake Town in Desolation of Smaug and not in Battle of the Five Armies. And the reason why I wished it was in Desolation of Smaug is because you watch this sequence and it doesn't nearly have the same impact as like it would have if it was at the end of the second movie. It just kind of happens and it's not really exciting and kind of boring to watch. And also, after Smaug destroys Lake Town, like that whole sequence, there's literally like no action until the last hour of the movie. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's just people talking, and I don't care about any of these characters, and there's a few references to Lord of the Rings, a little bit of setup, and that's like, I don't know, the most interesting stuff in the movie, because I care so little about everything else. Like, I don't know, it just helped me remember the original trilogy. Maybe that's why I liked it a bit better, like those references. Don't quite know the answer to that, and I don't feel as though I need to think about this any further. So, moving on. During the action scenes, there was some really hilariously bad moments in it, and I was laughing at the movie, which has never happened to me in any of the other Lord of the Rings films, or even the first two Hobbit movies. Like, none of it was funny bad to me. It was just like, that didn't need to be there, and that worked for me. Like, stuff like that, but never funny bad. This is the first time it turned into, like, schlock. And this movie really highlights all of the problems that this trilogy has, and none of it's engaging, none of it's fun to watch. It's just boring and goes on for way too long. Once again, I didn't really like the villain of the movie, Azog the Defiler. He was just kind of annoying and unnecessary, and whenever characters die in this movie, I don't care. I guess minor spoilers, I guess. I don't know. Characters die. There are... Maybe you're expecting at least one death in this movie because it is a battle of 5 armies. And there were some pretty bad performances by some of the child actors. I didn't believe them. Like, you guys are just watching all these people die, and you're just kind of looking a little bit sad, and at some points they looked like they were laughing. I'm not gonna lie. And that was distracting. And that's about all I have to say about The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. It's just bad. Like, everything that worked just so well for me in the Lord of the Rings trilogy is not here. And even the few elements of the first two Hobbit movies, like, that's not really here. It's just boring and funny bad, and never intentionally entertaining until, like, I don't know, the last 7 minutes of the movie. At least with the first two Hobbit movies, like, you can watch them. Like, the first Hobbit movie you can watch, even if it does have its problems. It's a watchable movie, and parts of the second movie are watchable, and I could revisit them. This one, I would never rewatch again. It's way too long to be enjoyed as a funny bad movie. has very few elements that do work for me intentionally. It makes it worse that this is the conclusion of this trilogy. I know I've said that already, but that really is what's killing it for me. The conclusion is just they gave up. And that's pretty upsetting to me. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, a 3 out of 10. If this movie wasn't funny bad at any point, it might have been a 4. Like, okay, that was just kind of dull and boring, but not because the extra mile of being, like, really stupid and just ridiculous and as entertaining as that can be, I'm not really enjoying what the movie is showing me intentionally. Like, when I'm laughing at the movie, that's making it worse, technically. Like, depending on how you look at it, I guess. But in this case, it is making it worse. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Carrie. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.